I think the love of cosplay is very international. I think a lot of us are looking for a sense of belonging, a sense of, like you just feel like you're a regular person normally, but when you put on a suit of armor, you become a character and you become more confident. And, I don't like being the center of attention. I don't like people looking at me too much, but when I'm in my armor, people are looking at my armor, not me. So it's armor both physically and metaphorically speaking. I was living in Australia for a year, and there was a video game bar, and I was like, oh wow, like a place for nerds to go and like meet and like maybe fall in love or whatever. And I'm like, wow, we need this back in Canada. And then when I went back to Canada, there was 3 bars in Toronto that had opened up in the past year. So then I come here and same thing, I see like the bars, and it's like it's nice to see that the community is growing and that there are places for us to go, not only at Comic-Con, but after Comic-Con we go to the video game bar, and it's becoming an entire culture that's growing beyond just the cons and the competitions. It's an entire community. You make friends very quickly because they understand a lot of the same things. So as soon as I met Brad, I'm like, we became instant friends because it's like, oh, I understand. And I met a couple of his friends, and they all had spray paint on their fingers. And I'm like, I understand, because me too, I always spray paint on my hands, or cuts because of X-Acto knives. You slip, you cut your finger. And so no matter where you are in the world, you understand those things. So I think that it brings people together in a really nice way. So it's a good community to be a part of.
2016年 ，Mike Cameron 离开从小生长的加拿大，在澳洲雪梨从事室内设计。人生最幸运的事情在这发生了。他制作 cosplay 道具的精湛手艺，让他得到进入异形圣乐剧组的机会，随即又接到雷神索尔3、环太平洋2的工作。疯狂的电影旅程源自他对 cosplay 的认同与热爱。
There is different ways to cosplay and different objectives. And if you want to be an internet celebrity, you need to be able to build different costumes very quickly, because every time you go to a con, they want to see a new costume. So with the way I build costumes and the way the movies build costumes, you couldn't do it that way. But with EVA foam, depending on like the level of the quality of the build, you can pump out costumes fairly quickly, so you can have a new costume every month. But then if you want to get into movies and actually be a prop builder, EVA foam is good, but they don't use that in the industry. To resin and fiberglass and casting and silicone and Sintra and materials like that, that's what they use in the industry. So I think that when people start cosplaying, they need to figure out what they want to get out of it, because sometimes it's just for fun, and then it's like build whatever you want, but if you have specific goals in mind, you need to be strategic, because it takes a lot of time to build these things, so you want to make sure that you're maximizing your time to get where you want to go.
What's your goal?
Movie work. Yeah, so it's been fairly successful so far. The book. Woo! Okay, fair enough. The movie industry, if people want to get into movies, you need to be passionate, because the hours are punishing at times. Like, a lot is expected of you, there's a lot of pressure, and if you love what you do, then it's great, you know what I mean? Because like you're thriving in a challenging environment that constantly allows you to learn and grow as a builder. But the hours are crazy. Minimum 50-hour weeks. On Alien Covenant, I was on for 12 weeks, and in 12 weeks I had 5 days off, and most of my weeks were between 70 and 80 hours per week. The nice thing is that they pay you well. The bad part is that there's no guarantee of future work. So you're working every day. Like, it consumes your entire life. You don't have time for friends half the time, or family, or doing anything else. I was in Australia for a year, and I love like scuba diving, and I'm right near the Great Barrier Reef, and I never got to scuba dive in the Great Barrier Reef because I was doing movie work. So there's a lot of sacrifice involved, but if you love it, then it's great. But you'll work really hard, and then the movie ends, and they're like, bye-bye, and you have to find your next job. And so, you might have made friends or impressed people with your work on the last movie, and they might try to get you in on the next one, but there's never a guarantee. So generally you make a lot of money in a short time, but then you have to save that money to spend to the next movie. It's fun, but it's a wild ride.